And good evening, everyone. You like comics? We do too. We're going to review some for you, talk about some other things related to it, and also read your comments on the air. So stick around for another minute. This is Comic Book Spectrum.
Seconds.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
How dare you!
Welcome to Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Get ready to explore the world of comics, past, present, and future, with our panelists Eric Hawkins, Brian Rodman, and Clyde Hall. And now here's your host, Brian K. Morris.
And good evening. How the heck are you? Welcome to the Thursday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. It is that day of the calendar 2022, and we hope you're having a great Cinco de Mayo so far, and we hope you're looking forward to some comic views and reviews. We got that in plenty tonight. Got some cool stuff that we've been reading that we think you ought to take a look at too. And if you're watching us on the rerun, we appreciate you also. Please leave us a comment and we will try to get back to you on that. And as always, we've got people to thank. We are sponsored by company near and dear to my heart, Rising Tide Publications. Keep an eye out for The Terrors this summer and other great books coming out from Rising Tide Publications. And also Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. You like comic books? You like books without pictures in them, what people will read with their lips and everything. Anyway, you want a great cover on a great book, and nobody does it better than Plasma Fire Graphics. Jeffrey Hayes does some wonderful stuff, including brand new book, Tim Bruckner's Major Marjorie, and also Snow Shorts #2, the Pulp Factory Award nominated book, actually short story in there. We'll find out tomorrow this time how it went. Anyway, check out the Plasma Fire Graphics page on Facebook, then check out their website, and then when you're done oohing and eyeing over all the great samples there, ask Jeffrey Hayes about his independent creator-friendly pricing on all graphics that you'll need, not only to put around that book, but also to sell it on social media. It's Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. We also want to thank our Patreon subscribers who are helping keep the rising tide rising and flowing forward. And if you want to support what we do in print and in broadcasting with a modest monthly stipend, check out what we offer in return for your support at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. I just wrote another episode of Every Blog Deserves the Name this afternoon, posted it for my subscribers. And if you pledge $5 or more a month, you get to read some of my works in progress. And we've just finished looking at The Terrors, and my people are going to get to decide what I'm writing next. And the answer might surprise you. Anyway, please check us out on patreon.com. And also, Like I said, we also have another book that just came out from Prose Press, The New Adventures of the Blue Circle. It's an old comic book that we have brought back to life. I say we, along with James Blakey and Quentin R. Castle. The Blue Circle is more than just a two-fisted comic book adventurer. He is a panel of reformed criminals that get together and advise said hero on how to fight crime. It's a really, really good book, and we think you'll love it. Check it out. Available on Amazon, along with Major Marjorie and other wonderful books that we have out right now, okay? And thank you very much for your kind attention. Now, let's get to the true stars of this program. I am merely the mouthpiece, and what a mouthpiece I am. Anyway, we have we will mute you all. Shut up, Eric. I can hear the gears turning. Anyway, we have Clyde Hall, who is back, and Zombie Slayer, Eric S. Hawkins, and Joe D. McFee. Gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
Present.
I counted 4.
I'm here.
Okay, accountable. So this is gonna be an interesting night because I don't think there was a whole lot on the stands this week that we really got gaga about. So. It's gonna be we're gonna have fun anyway. Damn the torpedoes, because you can't fit those in Mylar anyway. So anyway, let's go around the room. We'll start with Clyde, go to Eric, and then Joe, so he can keep working down there. He's working on the comic project. And Brian Rodman cannot be here tonight. He is. Well, there you go.
I'm lettering.
Oh, you're lettering. There we go. That's very important, guys and gals. And don't let Glenn hear that you're not using an Ames lettering guide. But anyway, we're going to start with Clyde. We're going to go clockwise here. And Clyde, explain to everybody who you are and why you are so darned amazing.
Well, I'm amazing because I'm part of the review team of Comic Book Spectrum.
Hey.
We are the 4, sometimes 5, fists of comics for you. We may not be symmetrical, but we mean well. And in exchange for liking and following our show, we swear to collect the titles of delight and bring you the essence of all those creatives who travel the road of comics done right. To this task, we arise, your dedicated cartoon knights.
Wow. Holy cats. Nice. Damn, I feel like I'm on a quest now. Thank you. Thank you, Clyde. That's it? Is that?
That's good. Well, I'm Clyde Hall. I'm an independent author. And I also have a story in Major Marjorie. Yay! Tim Buckner's Major Marjorie. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But this is I just got my copy today, so I love the distressed cover and the gorgeous graphics here. So very proud to have my name along with people like Tim Bruckner and Brian K. Morris and Jim Beard and Alicia Kent. And Charles F. Milhouse as our editor. So check it out on Amazon.
Definitely. Thank you, Clyde. And here he is, diligently working as well, Mr. Eric S. Zombie and Pro Slayer Hawkins. Eric, explain yourself.
I do comic stuff.
Good night, everyone.
I am the brainchild behind the Zombie World of Oz and Zombieful Adventures, which will hopefully be out later this year. We are funding on Kickstarter right now. We are at 140 backers and 60. Whoop, let me refresh it real quick. $6,445 and 140 backers.
Wow, nice. Very nice.
Hi, Fiona. Fiona's in front of the TV at their house watching us. So I hope Nora too.
Yeah, but Fiona's showing you toys.
Okay, she's showing toys to me on the TV. But yeah, we're on Kickstarter for another 62 hours. Then it's done. It's over. Then the rest of the pain begins. Fulfilling 43 sketch cards at last count, and I don't know how many hardbacks with drawings in them, at least 30. So lots of drawing to do when I get the books in.
So you won't be paying much attention for the next few weeks, right?
Yeah, I'll be sitting here. I'm thinking about live streaming me doing the sketch cards.
I think it'd be a super idea.
Because I did actually have one backer. He asked if he could see the process. I was like, okay. I draw on a card. I finish it. I draw on a card. I finish it. Kind of the process, but
Yeah, you do that thing. That sounds like fun. Thank you, Eric. And now here he is. I'm giving him a little time to vamp so he can pull his face up off the thing and look prepared. Joe D. McFee. Joe, tell everybody what you're up to.
I'm up to finishing the lettering on Amazonia 7, which is going to be on Kickstarter. I'm going to say this. You better catch it right about now, May 21st. There's going to be a couple of things that we have to iron out here as far as our launch party on the 21st here, but it's going to be fully announced here on the Rising Tide Network either hopefully tomorrow morning or Saturday. So the 21st of May, Amazonia number 7 Kickstarter will be around and kicking and everything. So be looking forward to it. Outside of that, you know, I kind of have to reiterate what Clyde said. We are kind of like the pantheon of reviews here. Regardless if we hate it, we chuck it. We always find something, try to find something positive about it. Whether it flew at least 15 feet or that's pretty good where it could be like, okay, it may not be my cup of tea, but I can see where other people will love it.
my books have had some good aerodynamics to them.
Yeah, you can find some great aerodynamic paperwork.
I gotta get some more foam wings so that mine can take flight well.
I say pick up some copies of Checkmate. Those, nothing has that lift quite like Brian Michael Bendis.
Oh, the buoyancy.
I must say this because I still haven't found it yet.
Yes.
Remember, out of the history of me being on Comic Book Spectrum, I only threw 2 books, of which I have not found one of them ever again. And that was Wonder Woman Evolution #1.
Oh no.
I have not been able to find it.
Oh no. Well, I have even worse news. I was able to find every issue of Checkmate.
There seem to be a lot of them on the shelf, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, go figure, right? Oh, well, thank you very much, Joe. And please go to the page that we showed you earlier for Amazonia, and please sign up right now. And you'll be alerted when Joe's campaign goes live. Now, it does not obligate you financially. It is just to alert you that something's coming up. Okay,
Exactly.
But it gives you the chance to be that #1 backer.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. And boy, that'll write your karma. That's what I'm saying, man. It'll set you free. That's all I got to tell you. And Joe, what you were asking me earlier, the answer is yes. Okay. All right.
Is it legal in your state?
That's why I'm going over to Illinois. Anyway, there ain't nothing that ain't legal there. But anyway, now it's my turn. I'm Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, award-winning playwright, potentially award-winning short story writer, and if not, we don't mention it ever again. Or Facebook famous YouTuber and former mortician's assistant like Clyde. I have the honor of being inside this wonderful, wonderful book. And Charles F. Millhouse, if you're watching, glad you. Charles went under the knife for his knees today, and he is recuperating nicely. I talked to him earlier, and we are proud to represent Stormgate Press and Ben Books at the Windy City Pulp and Paper Convention this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Lombard, Illinois. Please do a search on the interwebs and you'll be able to find it. But anyway, I'm excited to be here. I'm always excited to do this show. I have a lot of fun doing this. And and we got comments. Yes, we have comments. Yes. As I brace myself. Anyway, Donna Carly, hi guys, happy Cartoonist Day. That's right, today is Cartoonist Day. And I will be mentioning a very prominent cartoonist in part of my review later. Glad you're here, Donna, as always. And yay, Carl Witzman is here. And Ryan Permisson says, what's up, CBS crew? How are you? I am fine, Ryan. Hope you can say the same. Folks, Ryan last Saturday on, and I quote, interviewed professional comic book writer Paul Kupperberg, who has written over 3,000 scripts for DC, Charlton, a whole bunch of other places. Check it out. It was a great interview on Ryan's part. And hi, everyone said hi. And Lissy, hi, everyone. How you doing? Mwah. Lissy, good to see you. And good evening, superheroes. Ted Davies Artistry. Always a pleasure to have you here, sir. Check out his great programming on his channel there. And, Lissy, we're okay. What are 3 CB bundle sets that you would recommend everyone have in their collection and why? Comic book bundles. We will come back to that. Okay,
I liked my Cobra CB when I used to have that one. That was a nice one.
Midland.
Yeah.
Midland was good too. Yeah.
10-4, good buddy. Anyway, we will come back to that, Ryan. I'm going to put this on, so stick around. We will answer that and later on in the show. And hey, Ryan, Don, Lissy, and Ted, says Carl Wisman. And welcome back, Professor Clyde. Where have you been? Hope all is well. Clyde, give everyone a rundown. Why'd you miss the last couple of weeks? Other than and I apologize over and
Sick
over.
of us.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Realize he can do a lot better.
I have several writing projects going on. Most of them for Stormgate Press, and also there's a competition that I was in last year and won for a radio drama, and I wanted to dedicate some time to that too. So I just had a lot of irons in the fire, and I needed some extra writing time.
Understood. Well, we're glad you're back with us.
It's good to be back. Thanks for holding down the fort while I was gone. I watched the shows, so you guys did well.
Well, thank you. We were struggling because
you're too kind.
It was just what people talk about. Like the reason I like the show is a bunch of friends getting together just to talk comics and be funny and insightful, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, and Clyde's probably thinking, "Thank God I missed the episode about the half hour of Amber Heard."
I didn't mind missing that bullet. Yeah, that was okay.
And here we are with big bullseyes on our chests. Yeah,
it's a hard topic to avoid right now.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
No shit. Anyway, someone would. It had to be me. And nice shirt, Clyde. Happy Star Wars month.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, and everyone's saying hello, welcome back, Clyde from Carl Witzman. And what? No Luna? I mean, no Brian Rodman. Luna's taking the week off, and she forced her human to basically dote on her and be by her side, like the altar fires and everything. So Luna will not be on this week's episode, and I can see the viewership now just plummeting. We're in negative numbers.
Just tell them the truth.
Yeah.
Luna grabbed Rodman like this, pimp slapped him several times. It was a sight to behold. It was like a sight to behold because you never saw a cat at Luna's size slap a man like Rodman's size. Silly. I mean, really silly over water.
It was like we were at a Dave Chappelle concert or something. It was really rough. Yeah. But you got to keep that pimp paw strong. That's very important. You make a good point.
It was just that strong. It was like the first one, you were like,
ooh. Yeah, write that down. Pimp paw strong.
Is that what I got to put at the thing at the closing credits and everything? Yeah. That's my quote. But
Pimp paw strong.
Anyway, Carly. Oh, no, Luna. Why am I watching? Oh, for Eric, Clyde, and Joe. Oh, and BKM. Yeah, I know. You got to take the bad with the good too. And Lizzie says, "I'd like to see the process on Patreon."
Oh, we could do that.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea.
I mean, I do have a Patreon, and I've got 2 subscribers.
That's 2 more than I have.
And one of them is here. Well, no, that's a great idea, Eric. You could put it initially on your Patreon. We could talk it up, maybe get you 3 subscribers, and then put it on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, there's 35 subscribers over there, I think.
Oh my God!
Hey, that's pretty good for like 4 videos over 3 years.
That's not bad. For not tending to it, that's not bad at all. I've got almost that many myself. Anyway.
I gotta draw every day. Now, some people say I should be drawing on YouTube, but
it's a process. Well, anyway, Jennifer Hawkins, the charming and delightful Jennifer, says grandkids are the future of the zombie world of Oz.
They'll have to pick it up when I'm gone.
There we go. And I'll write them a script too. And Carl Winston says someday Joe will find that comic and think, why is this here?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Ooh, a Wonder Woman book. Oh, not this one again.
That's gone for another 2 years. And Christy Selmer, glad to see Eric. What's in the cup?
Caramel macchiato.
Ooh, yum. That sounds good.
Good.
Yes. All right. We got it official now. And Frog G, hail Frog. How you doing? Yay. Tickle the algorithm, smash the like, dingle the bells, and subscribe. That's excellent advice. Thank you, Frog. Good to see you as always. And Clyde says, let's see, I got Count Crowley from the library. It was a good read. And
good.
Carl,
Glad you liked it.
Yeah, seriously. We're always happy when you guys and gals try the books that we recommend. It makes us very happy, okay? And Carl Wisman says, off to subscribe to Eric's YouTube. Yeah! See, Eric now has 36 people.
See, there you go. Maybe see how many I actually have.
Yeah, you might be careful you don't have your Patreon and your YouTube numbers mixed up.
Oh, crap. I got 53 subscribers.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, I have 6 videos. Okay.
That's it. That's the reason
why.
why. Yeah.
2 years ago, 1 year ago. Oh, most of them I did 1 year ago. Oh, one I did 2 months ago. Oh, okay. That'd be the promo video for the Zombie World of Oz.
That could be. Well, wait to curate your page, Eric.
I'm doing okay without it.
That's okay. You're not slavishly devoted to yours the way I am to mine. Be sure you subscribe to Brian K. Moore's Rising Tide Publications because my fragile ego demands it. Don't search for Eric Hawkins on YouTube. There are some weird sites, and I didn't find it, says Carl Witzman. I'd like to know what you did find then. You feel the need to give
I
us
do
a
believe
warning.
there's a dancer named Eric Hawkins, and there's some other weird stuff too, which actually might be me, Carl. You don't know.
He looks good in a pair of tights. Thank God Eric has the legs for it. But anyway, let's start the reviews then. And Joe, do you want to do the usual thing, Joe, and tease, and then we'll go to Eric, and then.
Yep. It's time for comic book phone.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! Please pay attention because our options have definitely changed this time around. For Captain Carter number 2, please select 1.
Ding!
For Glit number 1, please select 2.
Ding!
For Cobra one shot, please select 3.
Cobra!
Ding, 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 ding.
For Carriers issue number 4, please select 4. Please use now.
Wah, wah, wah.
Operators are standing by right now. And Jennifer Hawkins says those are his other identities. And Donna goes, is that Eric S. Hawkins?
Might be under E. Hawkins 1971. That might be easier to find it.
Okay.
Ooh.
And the votes are cascading in. Frog G says 3. Eric Hawkins says 4. Christy Selmer says 4. Donna Carleen says 3, as does Ted Davies Artistry. And I've already voted, and Carl says 3. So Joe is aware of what my vote is, so I don't want to throw the. I don't think I could throw it at this point. And Carl says, and I still have not found him. And Lindsay says 4. So the votes are cascading in, and if yes.
Hey, Brian, before we get into the reviews,
Yes.
Define bundle. I saw that question that Ryan put up. And what is he?
Bundle
What
or
is his? Huh?
Yeah, what do you mean by bundle or set?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking bundles or sets. Like, is there a particular run of a comic that you like?
Oh, story arc per se.
The story arc, yeah.
Okay.
Or like a series, like eventually put into a TPB. That kind of
That's
like.
what I'm thinking, yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm, also remembering back in the day when they used to have text pieces and letter columns. Yes, kids, there are some old comic books with Uncle Brian's letters in them. So I had one in I've had a couple issues of Daredevil, issue of the original Flash, Barry Allen, not Jay Garrick, no old jokes, and Giant Size Master of Kung Fu, Man Thing, and of course the inimitable Giant Size Man Thing, the star of more bad jokes than any other.
Not going
series.
there.
No, not touching. Not touching.
No,
the Giant
okay,
Size
so I
Man
guess
thing.
it's time for my review, huh?
yeah. We're not touching that, which is what she said. Anyway,
so you had to go there. No one did it for him, so he went there himself.
I know. And Rad Publishing, good evening, comic book lovers. How are you, Rick Bradley? Check out Rick's brand new gaming show, R&D Gaming, on Monday nights. It is fantastic. And only found hee-haw videos, says Donna Carlene. So they could be Eric. He was a former hee-haw honey.
And anyway, now Conway Twitty.
I'll tell you what. I put in Eric Hawkins in the search on YouTube. First video comes up is Ted Davies. Second videos from the desk of a small publisher, or small press publisher.
Small town Chicago, yeah.
And then after that, it just gets weird. Oh, wait. Then like 6 down, it's Dingo's podcast. Yeah. Then comes up Taylor Hawkins. Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, well. Okay. Well, Eric,
that was the drummer for Foo Fighters, in case anyone's wondering.
I
died recently.
Even I knew that. So anyway, while y'all have a chance to vote, and Rad Publishing, I gotta get this in, says this Monday will be about D&D. We will also touch on other RPGs. That should be fascinating.
Such as
the new G.I. Joe RPG.
And said, see, I said they were weird. Well, speaking of weird, because he is ever so dignified. I can't say it with a straight face. Anyway, here is the one, the only, the Pro Slayer himself, Eric S. Hawkins. Eric, what have you got for us?
Well, I got a. I'm not gonna say it's a kid's book. I don't know if it is yet. It looks like it could be. There's no real mature content inside it. There's one kind of funny joke. I think kids would find it amusing. But it's a book by Scotty Young, who did. You guys remember reviewing a while back the Me You Love in the Dark, which was more of an adult. Oh, what's that? Oh, no, thought that was Batman. The Me You Love in the Dark, which was a more mature story. I Hate Fairyland returns in the fall. All right.
Yes.
Nice.
Cool. Another book by Scotty Young. Scotty Young, mostly I've known him for his art, but I find he's a very accomplished writer, and I liked the past series I read, and I want to go back and find some of his other writing stuff. But this one's by Scotty Young and Kyle Stram, and it's called Twig. It's cute. I don't know how to describe the creatures, but they're all kind of cute. I mean, look. And they're all different looking. This one is Splat. So it's Splat and Twig. They're best friends. The Splat really doesn't, I guess he kind of looks like a Loch Ness Monster without any facial features. But Twig has been promoted. Only you find out because his dad died. So he is a placeling. And placelings they take objects and they explore the world with them. They have to go see the what was he called? The Pathsayer. He has to take this object, go see the Pathsayer, and the Pathsayer will give him a path to go on with his object. Then he comes back with all of his findings and whatnot. But to find this object and the other creatures in the world, he has to go to see his boss, apparently. But he's late on his first day because Splat didn't wake him up. I mean, Splat knew the day was important, but Twig never told him to wake him up on time. So he blames Splat. But if he has to go go see the mountain. And everybody on his way to the mountain's telling him he's late. Everybody's telling him he's late. When you see the mountain, he lets you in through his mouth, and you go into the belly of the mountain. And this is where the other creatures are, and they work in the mines down there. And that's where his other boss is, who gives him the item to take to the Pathsayer. Now, here's where it's a cute story, and I'll say this really is the only joke. Well, there might be other jokes, but this one, I was wondering. This is what Splat is saying to Twig, because they leave and here. Okay, so they come out of the little cave after they go into the mouth of the mountain and come out of a little cave at the end. And Splat was wondering if we entered the mountain through the mouth and got the stone in his belly, did we just leave through his gross? What? It only makes sense, right? Like we just got poop. Stop! So apparently they did leave through the anus of the mountain. Because it only makes sense. You went through the mouth, you went through the stomach, you come out the butt. And here's where you get to learn a little more about Splat and Twig themselves. They have a little meal, and Twig wanted to be a chef, and he told Splat to go get some mushrooms. He'll cook something up for dinner while they on the way to see the Pathsayer. And this is where you find out that since there was no apprentice to his father, he took over instead of finishing his chef school. And really, just a little. They just kind of take off in a little path. They go find the Pathsayer's house, and that's where I'll end the book right there because there's only one page after that. Well, there's 2 pages if you can consider the white page that says "to be continued." The book is very cute, and I think so far it looks like it'd be very kid friendly. I don't know if they have a rating on it. I can't always find those, and my dog said yes, there is somewhere, but I think he's lying. Other than that, it's a cute little kids book, and since I've been really like Scotty Young's writing lately, I'm going to keep picking this one up. Score wise, the art's fantastic in it. The ending was really cool. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Just because I like it. I like it. And, shoot, I can't even wait for I Hate Fairyland. I'll be reviewing that one too. But, yeah, I would say a kid could read this. Definitely this first issue because, really, you get a butt joke. That's cute to kids. They'd like that. It's really cute. I like it. It's in a world of really dark books out there, this is pretty nice and refreshing.
Very nice.
Yeah, no skeleton horses or anything. So, yeah, 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Yay.
Very cool. Very cool indeed. Yay.
Eric has been on these 8s and 7 kicks.
I've got to get something to throw or tear up soon. I never did. I never did read Canceled, so maybe I'll read that one.
There you go.
There was a couple more books I didn't want to pick up this week, but I was like, I didn't read the second issue of that, and the third issue's out. I can't even pick that up till I read the next. I'm going to hold off.
There's always Monkey Meat. I think they're up to the 5th issue now.
Yeah, they can keep going.
Oh, and let's see. Rad Publishing continues saying, such as many of the ones that I have, the games that is, everything from Chill to Buffy to Necroscope and Robotech. And Rad also, see, now I want to point out that I'm not the one who went here. So Splat came out of the butt, huh? Yep. And that sounds like an adorable book, says Lissy. Nora might read that. And
she might.
She might.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't remember sound effects, but, they're so good there are sound effects, and I didn't notice them.
There you go.
They weren't distracting.
And Rick Bradley of Rad Publishing says, even adults like a good butt joke, too.
Mm-hmm.
I even like bad butt jokes. So anyway, thank you, Eric.
Well, you're welcome.
That was fantastic. Yes, well done. Well done.
Yes, very well done.
So Joe.
Yes.
Do you want to go through the choices one more time, and we'll give everyone one more minute to vote.
Okay.
Well, I think everyone has. So, but anyway.
I think it's only one person that didn't vote so far. So
Okay.
option 1, Captain Carter number 2.
Uh-huh.
Then we have Glit number 1, which is option number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Option 3 is the Cobra one shot, and option 4 is Carriers number 4.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Everyone, okay, you've got one more minute to cast your vote if you haven't already. And of course, I'm going to stay out of this. I'm not going to let anyone know which one I would like to hear about. I'm just, I might give a clue. It might be real subtle, but I'm not going to come out and say it. So,
Yeah. It's kind of
You feel that way too?
yeah.
It's so. But anyway, we owe it to our audience to let them have the ultimate choice.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed?
Hey, while they're still thinking it over,
yeah.
Just remind everybody this is Free Comic Book Day this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And even though DC is not listed in the distribution on the website or anything, it's because Diamond does not distribute them anymore. There are still 3 DC books coming out this week, even though it's not listed on the Free Comic Book Day website. Some people on Twitter were saying there's no DC books, and what do you guys think of this? And blah blah blah. I'm like, hey, yeah, they're coming out. They're just Diamond's behind Free Comic Book Day, so they don't distribute the books anymore. So yeah.
Right.
So if you're looking for DC books, there's 3 of them coming out.
What are they?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't read DC.
Hold on a second.
Come on, Clyde, you know that.
Hold on. I
Hey,
can look up there.
one of them's
Why don't you
Dark
ask Brian? He used
Dark
to do
Crisis.
this.
One's Dark Crisis, I think.
One is Dark Crisis Special Edition 0.
Mhm.
Flashpoint.
Super Pets.
Yeah, Super Pets. And
there you go.
I thought Flashpoint Beyond is not one of the free ones.
No,
My bad.
Flashpoint Beyond came out this week.
Right.
Hmm.
I'm on the League of Comic Geeks, and I'm trying to see if I can see it.
If it comes up over the weekend with the Super Pets titles, and they also had a reprint issue that came out with all the Super Pets this week, I saw. If you want to get some interesting looks from people that weren't around in the Silver Age, mention that Comet, the Super Horse, is actually a centaur and once dated Supergirl. That'll get you some interesting looks. I know. I
Yeah.
experienced that this
Like
week.
that.
Is that the Tijuana Supergirl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't write the comics in the Silver Age. All I can do is sit back and be agog at them sometimes.
Yeah. I don't see it.
Hey, well, didn't Aquaman date a dolphin once too?
Well, that's true.
There's something going on over at DC. I'm telling you.
There's some weird, funky stuff going on there.
They may have been the gold standard, but they're repressed. I can tell you.
I think they should be a little more repressed, actually, even to themselves, So anyway, I think we vamped long enough. Joe, what is the winner?
Well, I'm happy to say that you're about to make my job this week very, very, very easy. Why? Because the winner is the Cobra one-shot book.
Yay!
Oh.
Yay.
You want to know why it's going to be easy to review this?
Why is it going to be easy?
Because it's
Joe?
Cobra.
Is it like a yearbook? It just has like file cards through it?
Well, that's close, but no. What it really is, I thought it was going to be brand new stories. It's actually reprints of classic Cobra stories from the G.I. Joe series.
Oh,
that was a good one.
So
Yeah.
we have like
Nice
issue 50,
choice.
we got issue 55, issue 57, issue 76, and 280. It's like 55 is when they unmasked. It's the first time that they really unmasked Destro, Snake Eyes, and Cobra Commander.
But
And-
were they all really unmasked that issue?
Well,
Didn't they
Snake
put on
Eyes were.
disguises? Yeah,
Snake Eyes
but the other
were.
two put on really funky disguises.
right, but Snake Eyes was really unmasked, and when they unmasked it, it's like, oh my god, his face is so hideous. It gotta be Snake Eyes. It's like nobody's face is that messed up. I'm like, really? They actually did that in comic continuity over and over and over again. But yeah, this was like one of the ones where it just seems like everybody was in disguise. It's like Destro was in a different disguise outside of his normal. See, this is what leads up to it right here. That
Yeah.
everybody wear all the different different disguises. It's like
Cobra
Destro,
Commander in the ponytail and beret.
Yeah. It was just so messed up and everything. And here comes like Mindbender and everything, and then Mindbender ended up catching Snake Eyes, and just the simple fact of what the Baroness is like, it's just hideous. It's like, it gotta be Snake Eyes. Like, how would you know what Snake Eyes look like? It's like, it's not like Snake Eyes going around unmasked all the time.
And when he eventually was, and you saw his face, it really wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't this figure all that bad, but this is the funny part. Here's another funny part. Cobra Commander and Destro get pulled over by the police.
Yeah.
It's like, how? It's just like, it's just silliness. The silliness and everything. With
He's got his actual driver's license on him too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you got it, Billy, and that name comes that name comes back to haunt people with the original Larry Hama G.I. Joe series from Marvel, because his son is actually named Billy. His Cobra Commander's actual son, blood-born son, is named Billy. But Cobra Commander had a driver's license with the name with his first name being Billy. It just, how they got out of this scenario is just really, really warped. It's just hilarious. But the classic issues here, and then I can't remember what that's like. 57 was like the team up with Destro. If you remember that one, Eric.
I remember the cover. I don't remember a lot that happened in that one.
I think I have a copy of this somewhere around.
I got it somewhere. Yeah, I got almost all of them. I've gotten rid of very few of them.
And here it is again. It's like, there's Destro unmasked and everything, going through customs and whatnot. Goes into the bathroom, comes out with the Destro costume.
Comes out looking like a space age pimp.
Straight up, just hilarious. It's just hilarity. I mean, this issue is like, for $7.99, you're getting some key issues here of G.I. Joe from the Marvel series, and I think you get one of the IDW series here. Now, 76 is one that I don't remember all that much. I don't remember this one very well. I think it's kind of.
I remember the cover, but it's not on Cobra Island. No, that's not on Cobra Island. Is that the Battle for the Pit?
No, because it's dealing with the Grenadiers. I don't remember all the Grenadiers. I don't remember all the Iron Grenadier stories. So this is when Destro separated himself from Cobra, and he had his own army called the Iron Grenadiers. And that was the other thing. It was also one of the supposedly quote unquote deaths of Serpentor. That's why it's so. And the reason why it's the so-called death of Serpentor, because of what happened at the very end. You have Cobra all over the place, and then you have Zartan. He shoots the arrow. You know how Serpentor talking all that mess, and it's like an arrow, and got him dead in his head with that arrow.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then here comes Hawk rolling up and everything, about to get ready to say, hey, really, kind of like, say something off kilter, and then you see Destro and Mindbender shaking hands. It's just like, Zartan and Hawk is like, what in the world is going on? This is kind of disgusting. How are they forming a partnership after this?
After Mindbender, what a crazy looking character he was.
And then that was the IDW. I never followed G.I. Joe in the IDW run.
I tried to. I just never could get into it.
But IDW did do a lot more with the Baroness, so I have a lot more respect for the Baroness up under the IDW brand, because they really made her kind of shine as an counterintelligence here. But I wish they would have did more with her. And then after they did the issue, they showed you all the other covers that came with issue 280. Like that one, I like that one. You know,
that's a Scott Campbell cover, isn't it?
You know, not just Scott Campbell, it's just her with the other female Cobra soldiers. Because that's one of the other things that you rarely saw in the Marvel one, which is that Cobra does have female soldiers.
Oh yeah, did I see? I think one maybe. I don't even know if there was one. They're all guys.
Yep, but that's what this issue is really about. It's just, I think it's 5 for $7.99. You get 4 classic issues of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, cool.
Now I was hoping that it was like one classic issue and some new stories, but that's what they did. They just reprinted a whole bunch of good Cobra stories from the original run. Overall, if you're not a big G.I. Joe fan and you wanted to get like what it was like for Cobra back in the day in a lot of the G.I. Joe series, this will give you a great pickup for $8. So you're getting like, $2 an issue. Considering, let's see, this one right here, I know is probably like a $12 or $15 issue. I think this one right here, the other one, the side-by-side with Destro. I remember I just got through picking that up for about like $10, and it's not in the best condition. That's how much these issues are worth now. Like this one here, that one here. You can still get it, reasonably cheap, but it's like it's anywhere between $6 to $10. But for a pristine one, you're going to be paying close to $20 for. 76 is a short print run, so that's going to cost you a pretty penny too. For some reason, I think it's like issues after issue number, I want to say like 70 had shorter print runs. And because I never follow IDW, I don't know what 280 would be. You might be able to get it still for cover price, but 76 I know had a shorter print run than all the other ones. So I know that's going to cost you a bit, quite a bit of money here. A lot of the $1 issues probably going to cost you a lot of money now because they were shorter print runs on that.
And I'd say almost all the G.I. Joes had, the Marvel ones had great covers. Yeah, they all look great.
I can't even think of a bad cover on a Marvel one, but overall, if I do have to give a rating for this, considering that it is a reprint book, and it's not me being harsh, but it's just more along the lines like I really want, new story. I would give this pretty much a 6 out of 10. And the only reason it's 6 out of 10 is not because of the content, it's more because it is a book that reprints a lot of stuff.
It doesn't tell you that on the front.
There's a lot of great stuff up in here. So it brought back nostalgia, but it's not what I was hoping for in the one shot. I was hoping that we get something brand new and different.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Appreciate it, man. And apparently you've left everyone speechless in the chat. They have nothing to say.
Yeah, it was like, oh, man, we got duped. It's like, you feel how I felt. I was like, oh, man, I'm hyped up and ready. It's like, yeah, let me read.
So it makes me glad my shop never gets any G.I. Joe books in. Because, I asked them about the Snake Eyes when those come out and Liefeld was doing it. And they're like, well, we could add to your list. Nobody ever buys them, so we stopped ordering. I'm like, well, I don't want to add it to the list. Just order it for me. I'll find it somewhere else if I really want it that bad.
But that's the thing. I like what they're doing with Saturday Morning Adventures. I'm actually thinking about getting that. And issue number 3, hopefully it's not a limited series, because issue number 3 will probably be like the third wish. If you guys been following what I've been reviewing with the G.I. Joe, the Saturday Morning Adventures.
I wonder, will they be able to keep doing that one? Because they lost the G.I. Joe license from Hasbro. But will they still be able to do the cartoon book?
That's the question.
It might be a separate license, though.
Yeah, it might be.
Okay, that's a good thought there. Carl Wilson says, no, sorry, trying to help a friend. Well, good luck with that. Helping her find a job and housing, major downer. So I'm quiet tonight. Well, good luck with that. Seriously. And Cobra, la 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 la.
There is no Galabulus in this series. There's no Nemesis Enforcer. There's no Pythona. That would be interesting if they actually did bring back like some of the movie characters. And so
they never made it into the regular comic book.
No, they didn't. They never made it.
They're in the movie, which was okay. And well, Duke was supposed to die, but they got such backlash over Optimus Prime dying that they didn't kill him.
That's great.
That plus they did think that G.I. Joe the movie was going to be a box office hit because they got disappointing numbers with Transformers.
Right.
But we did get the killer opening theme song that we all wanted.
And Don Johnson is one of the voices.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know which one was better, Don Johnson or Ernest Borgnine.
Ernest Borgnine can do anything as far as I'm concerned, even if he's dead. But no, we also had Christopher Eccleston in the first one too, if I remember. Played Destro, right?
Destro.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I of course, I'm a doctor.
No, you're making me think about it's like the 5. That's the thing with G.I. Joe, the cartoon series.
Yeah.
5 episodes to enter the 5-episode commercial. They're supposed to be, that was it.
Yeah.
They got so popular that they did another 5 episodes, which was Revenge of Cobra.
Right. Right.
And then after that, they had started a pilot series. So people up here, it's like, well, the Mass Device was the pilot. It's like, no, that was a completely separate thing. Mass Device and the Weather Dominator was 2 separate 5-episode commercials. That's where I look at it.
Oh man, fun. Well, anyway, thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right. Well, then I guess it's my turn. I will take this. We like I said, it was a light week. It usually is a light week for me. I don't have a whole lot on my pull list, but I do want to bring your attention to some good stuff out there. One is Tomorrow's Retro Fan. This magazine, if you're into nostalgia, there is always something good in here. And as you can see, the main thing is about Sergio Aragones, the creator of Gru the Wanderer, and the artist of the Margin cartoons in Mad Magazine. Also a thing on one of the last interviews of B.J. Thomas, an article on the Saturday morning Lone Ranger cartoons. The Three Stooges, all of the Three Stooges there, including Shemp. And there's one at the top from The Outlaws Is Coming, 1965. Who recognizes the guy on the left?
I do.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
Who is it?
I've seen most of those movies, the Stooges movies features. That's Adam West.
Yes, before he did Batman. So that's all the kind of really cool stuff. And speaking of G.I. Joe,
the original G.I. Joe.
The original, the real G.I. Joe. And it shows the comic books, the toys, the accoutrements that went along with it. Really, really good article on hot pants. And let's see what else. And Sergio Aragones, like I said, also points out the fact that he is also an actor. He was on the revival of Laugh-In in 1971. One of his co-stars, I remember Gary Muledeer, one of my favorite comedians, was in that. And he also was joined by a brand new comic that was on the rise named Robin Williams. And just all the kind of the great accomplishments this man has done in comics and outside of it. An article on the old TV show Route 66 with Martin Milner and George Maharis. And also features the Boris Karloff's last appearance as the Frankenstein monster. And Larry, and also Lon Chaney Jr. as Larry Talbot on a special episode. Quizzes, contests you wanted to win but didn't. Such as the Superman contests.
Yeah.
For the first 2 movies, the Lone Ranger thing, like I mentioned. B.J. Thomas. fan mail, special thing from Sergio. Just a real good magazine, 10 out of 10 every issue. It is packed with information and absolute fun. And then we were all oohing and eyeing over this one, Alter Ego, number 175, with a wraparound cover by Arvell Jones and Bob McLeod. And it's mostly on the artists of the All-Star Squadron back in the day, such as Arvell Jones out of Detroit, who also did Supergirl, Super Team Up, Secret Origins, whole bunch of really great stuff, followed by an interview with Richard Howell, who also did the Vision and Scarlet Witch maxi series, and then Jerry Ordway and his time on the All-Star Squadron and working with Roy Thomas, plus a variety of specially done covers where they take mostly they'll take classic covers and put new people in them. And it's a lot of fun. Plus, of course, the usual Michael T. Gilbert and the article on Myron Fass and his publishing empire. Myron Fass was the publisher of the second Captain Marvel, Exam. So anyway, this one also 10 out of 10. Never disappoints. Alter Ego, one of the best magazines out there. And then I got one I almost reviewed. I've been getting it on the Comixology, Monkey Prince. By we get the credits right. Jean Luen Yang, Bernard Cheng is the artist. Most everyone on here is Asian, I believe, which is kind of nice. But it's a light, fun-hearted superhero based on the classic Asian legend of the Monkey King. This is a high schooler who finds out that he's in line to become the Monkey King, but he's got to be the prince and get trained first. And we have appearances by Damian Wayne and his dad. As in the plot here, the Penguin is taken over by a spirit, a golden evil spirit here, and he's holding the Monkey Prince's real-life parents hostage. So the Monkey Prince has to rescue them, not alert them as to his secret identity, and not reveal it to Batman either. It is just fun all the way through. And like Eric was talking about, more fun comics. This is definitely one that needs to be on your to-read list. And I'm not going to reveal the ending to you because the problems for our hero are just beginning. Let's put it that way. And he better know how to either swim or hold his breath. But anyway, that's Monkey Prince number 4. That's a 10 out of 10. And then this one we were talking about before the show, which is why we're a couple minutes late. Rocketeer number 2, The Great Race. The art is really good. Stephen Mooney did a great job on the art and especially the story. It's starting to look more like Brent Anderson from Astro City to me now, which is not a knock. It is, if you're looking for the smooth lines of Dave Stevens, they're kind of sort of in evidence, but especially in the back where they're doing an oral history of Dave Stevens and the Rocketeer, which is kind of cool. And you get a picture of Brink Stevens, which I'll always welcome. And also we have this photo here, Milton Kenneth and Doug Wildey, who was the model for Peavey, and it was also the genius behind the Outlaw Kid for Marvel and Johnny Quest cartoons. But yeah, this is another exciting story. It is building up wonderfully. And what one of the things we were talking about was the fact that there was something that was kind of unsettling in the first issue that I wanted to see how it resolved itself. Where the Rocketeer's jetpack gets plastered with bullets, and he's apparently falling to his death. And the next panel, he's waking up in bed with Betty coming up on him, and it's like, well, is this now a dream sequence? Is he dead? Is this heaven? Betty's bedroom? Yeah, it's heaven. Anyway, what's going on? Well, it's resolved in this very issue, and because it is, And because this is a fun, exciting read, if you love the movie, you will love this book. It is worth your money. It is worth your $4.99, and there are variant covers as well. So check those out too. But I am going to make this a 10 out of 10. This was definitely worth reading. Great cliffhanger. And I saw what I did there. And also, I am retroactively raising Rocketeer number 1 to a 10 out of 10 because of the resolution in this book. Definitely worth your money, people. And support fun comic books. We need more like them. Jody McFee will agree with you.
Yeah, because I found this one. Since you brought up the other book with G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Colton.
Yes. Yes, the original G.I. Joe.
That's right.
From what you were showing earlier, this is the 50th anniversary, and this is the first time that Colton makes his appearance in continuity.
That's right. Excellent find there. Don't throw it, though. Don't throw it.
And then he comes back as Bruce Willis in the movie.
Right.
Well, that's worthwhile. So anyway, let's see. Here we go with a couple of comments. Donna Carleen, check her work, and Carl Witzman's out on Lulu.com. Great writers. Whew, I was afraid he was going to say monkey meat. Whew, I know.
I was too. Every time he says monkey prints, I'm like, why would you buy that crap?
No, I'm buying the good one, Monkey Prince. It's really a good book. It's a lot of fun. And Carl Wiseman says, didn't someone review a Monkey Prince before? Maybe Brian himself, different issue, I guess. Yes, I reviewed number 1. And like I said, this is the 4th issue, and it is consistently good and getting better. It also has a vibe to it that's very much like early Spider-Man and early Richard Rider Nova, which you write a comic like that, I will purchase it because I love that kind of vibe.
Gene Yang is doing some really good stuff. You know, the last few things he's come out with have all been raised the bar. The Shang-Chi series right now for Marvel. Excellent.
Well, and also he won an Eisner last year for Superman Battles the Klan.
Yeah.
That's to me, that book was as good as comics could never get.
Yep.
It's really good things. And Donna Carleen says, pay attention, Carl. That's right. There will be tests later. So, and Carl Wiseman is slinking back to his corner now. Hopefully Callie will keep him company and tangle him up.
You know, Carl and Ted might get consultant credits in the Zombieful Adventures coming up.
Is that right?
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Only because when I was on Ted's show, I talked about how I hate drawing horses, and it's set in 1914. And Ted was like, I don't think Harley was around yet. And I said, Indian might have been. And Carl said, I think Indian was. And I looked at, Indian motorcycles were around in 1914.
Yeah, that's true. Because I used to read back in my misspent youth. You know, they had a whole lot of magazines out about drag racing. And, cycle racing, like Charlton had a whole bunch of them. Cliff Carter, I think, was the character's name. Hot Wheels had a comic at DC for a while. There was something like it at Gold Key right afterwards. And what was it? There were also things like Drag Magazine. It's not about guys dressing up like women. It's about like drag racing, and it
cartoons.
Had cartoons, yes, Cycle Tunes. And I have an old issue of Cycle Tunes that has a 2-page spread by Terry Gilliam.
Yeah,
of all people. But Russ Manning did some work for him. Gilbert Shelton of Wonder Warthog fame, the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers. Alex Toth did a lot of work. Warren Tufts. There was some really good stuff back there. But yeah, it's it was just a lot of really good different comics back then. Jack Keller did a lot of the car stuff for Charlton, because I found out he was actually a drag racer. In real life. That was his hobby. So I don't know what it has to do with anything now. I'm just so lost watching the nostalgia now. But anyway, James Gardner rode an Indian motorcycle in the Some Western we saw. Oh, that's where it was. Yes. In Cycle Tunes, there was a character called the Old Poop. That was his name. He was this ancient guy who wrote a 1920 Indian. I remember that distinctly.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was going with that. So I thought that was worth waiting for. But anyway, but yeah, really, really good stuff back then. A lot of fun. And I agree with Gene Luen Yang. I really liked his Superman more than I thought I should. Because I thought, oh God, just a corruption of the original, but it actually was really good and had a lot of heart to it. So, so yeah, I didn't get much this week, but it was all consistently good, pretty much. So I was pretty happy with it. Quality over quantity.
I need a bad book soon.
No, you don't. You need to keep reading the good ones. So when
my arm's out of exercise, I need
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He's got to get that pitching arm ready. So anyway, speaking of pitching, we're going to get somebody's going to pitch a good book to us now, I'm sure, and that's going to be Clyde Hall, our gold standard. Clyde, first of all, welcome back.
Thank you.
And secondly, what you got for us?
Well, first, the things that I got this week. I also we were talking before the show. The The Dogs of London is an Aftershock. If you remember, I reviewed Out of Body last year from Aftershock, and it was a really interesting blend of modern medicine and the supernatural, and it really different. Peter Milligan is the writer of that one. He also wrote The Dogs of London, and I reviewed that at Comic Book at Comic Book Bookcase this week, and I was really impressed. Again, we have one of those. This is a crime drama, straightforward London crime drama, the Craze era, 1966, London Underground, and then it isn't. It has elements that could be supernatural or it could be sci-fi, but again, he's blended two different worlds together very nicely for an intriguing launch. That was probably my favorite this week, but very close on its heels was Aftershock's Naughty List. It looks at the whole legend. I don't know about the timing for this. I don't know why we're doing this apart from the holiday season. It is not an all ages book by any means. It is very much an Aftershock product, but it looks at the whole idea and the things that we have as the legend of Santa Claus as a supernatural curse. What if it was played out as a supernatural curse possessed by a person? Naughty List. It was a very, very creative read. I don't know, again, why they are doing it in the summertime, but I'll be getting the rest of those issues if it continues to be as good as that one was. Frontiersman had a little one shot of Frontiersman in Prison. That was good. From the Image series, getting ready to have Volume 2 before long. One Star Squadron decided it was not going to be funny anymore and ended up being a very the whole run of this is issue number 6 of 6, and it really went from being kind of funny, haha, the Mark Russell kind of standard stuff, to being really, really maudlin in the last 2 issues. So kind of an inconsistent vibe to it. It was good. It was just started you off laughing and ended up with you crying. So yeah, it was kind of, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how to take it. It was a weird change of gears there, but what I'm going to review this week is a continuation of something that I did just before I left before. If you like Count Crowley, the first series, which is trade paperback, like Lissy was talking about, Dark Horse has come out with the second, number 1 of the second series, which I figured I had lost the window to do this because it's been a month and 2 weeks since number 1 launched. So I figured number 2 would be out and I might review it, but they gave them extra time for issue number 2. So it's coming out, I think, on the 11th of this month. Next new comic book day. So
they gave you extra time to review it.
There you go. I guess so. And I did a review over at Doom Rocket for it, but I kind of changed around some things and looked a little more deeper into it, had more time to focus on it. So I thought, because this other issue is going to be coming out, and I think people may have an interest in picking it up, especially if you like the first issue. I wanted to give them a heads up about issue number 1 of the second series, where Count Crowley becomes the amateur Midnight Monster Hunter instead of the reluctant one. So apparently, she's accepted that she's going to do it. She's just not very good at it yet. So, but we start off with, again, we have the Lucas Kettner cover that, if you're a monster kid or if you like supernatural things, I don't know how you could pass up that cover. It's just, his covers are sublime. I just love them. They start off with a fake horror host, Vincent Van Gogh, setting up the series so far. As you can see, it's a few pictures and a little bit of dialogue, not much of a setup. It launches right back where we left off the last issue. And we get some action here with a vampire attack. Vampires are kind of the big bad of this world, it seems like. So here's a cab driver getting a tip from his fare. 2 tips, actually. One on each fang. Here we have kind of a coal shack. Can you see this okay, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Kind of a coal shack scene here. Remember where Carl Kolchak, played by Darren McGavin, would go and find things that he could use to fight the monsters? Well, here's Jerry in a hardware store getting a few things that she thinks might be helpful. And it's a good thing she did, because before we're done, she is fighting a lycanthrope in human form at this point, but you have a witchy werewolf woman here that she delivers a couple of really good roundhouses to. So, and that's an unusual part of the book because it's mostly expositional. It doesn't have a whole lot of action until right at the very end. But it's Count Crowley, Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter #1, Dark Horse Comics, $3.99 cover price, written by David Dalsmasian. The art is by Lucas Kettner. The colors by Lauren Offey. The letters by Frank Zvitkovic. And it is a rated mature title. Now, while I write for various sites, this is my own independent feature, and I should specify that it is not to be considered representing any views of those other sites. Count Crowley, host of Friday night's Scream Theater on the small market independent TV station KSKB by night, practicing real-life monster hunter also by night, because that's when things of cinematic or supernatural ilk do their best bumping. The first issue of Count Crowley, Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter, picks up exactly where Volume 1's cliffhanger left us dangling. Once a reluctant Midnight Monster Hunter, Geraldine Novak Bartman, stage name Jerry Butler, is now willing but not experienced enough to go more than amateur. It's 1983, and Geraldine Novak Bartman, on-air moniker Jerry Butler, is facing demons. They're her own, and they come in the forms of bounced rent checks and shattered career aspirations, wasted talent, and a very serious drinking problem. She was convinced herself that she was meant for so much more. She was a good scholar. She was an inspiring journalist and a headstrong daughter to parents who owned a small regional television station. Everyone expected her to be the most likely to succeed in her class, including Jerry. Her break into major market TV reporting ends after she accuses an anchor of sexual harassment, and that, along with a losing battle with the bottle, gets her fired. So coming back to her little hometown and working for her brother at the old family independent TV station is quite an ego blow, leading to more imbibing in the end of her professional rope, when she accuses a shifty station sponsor of some dubious practices in a live drunken rant. She's put on Midnight Monster movie host duty at KSKB's new Count Crowley, when the old one stops showing up for work. And that's because she quickly learns the 2 monster show hosts before her were actually members of The Appointed. a cabal of monster hunters, always males, who have access to arcane knowledge about the real creatures behind the folklore versions and have taken on a sacred duty of defending humanity from their taloned and fanged ilk. Creatures of the night may have taken Rich Barnes, late of the Count Crowley props and the corny jokes, out of the picture. And they attempt doing the same with Jerry when she's put in an acerbic but witty premiere as a She-Crowley guide to late-night bad movie mockery. She survives a werewolf attack, submits to attending AA as a condition of her brother's continuing her employment, and the first series ends with an unexpected arrival in Jerry's AA group. It's the lycanthrope which attempted putting the bite on her last issue. Apparently, even monsters have substance abuse issues, it seems. So, issue number 1 of the new series reveals media outlet interests of the Vampire Court. They're called the Blood Feasters, per crotchety appointed veteran and now nursing home-bound mentor, Victor Freitz, the Count Crowley equivalent of 2 horror host stints back. And he says that they're immortal masters of the misinformation long game. They have seeded human fiction and lore with inaccuracy regarding monster natures and weaknesses for centuries. One of their minions has named a potential new threat that's come up on the radar, and that is Jerry's version of Count Crowley. Meanwhile, Jerry applies journalistic skill with drive, seeking the truth about monsters for a planned expose. Confronting Steve, that werewolf member from her AA group, in his human form, Jerry meets the wolf woman who turned him for a climactic confrontation, conjuring memories of Darren McGavin's battling the creature of the week as Kolchak the Night Stalker. So, in this issue, let's look at the good. Writer David Desmashian frames a largely expositional narrative here with brief moments of action, but it should hold the interests of readers who were along for the first series. He places Jerry in that practical journalistic battling in impractical supernatural entities role that Kolchak character defined so successfully. He makes her flawed and broken, but determined, and on a comeback trail, hoping to break a big story about monsters living among us. Again, it's a very Kolchak-worthy vibe. Vampires as the supernatural chess players using humans and other monsters as their pawns is a logical role for them. And there's going to be some vampire court intrigues as well, I think. It's especially refreshing that the traditional but ineffective lore that they built up around themselves and other creatures as a ploy, a very intentional manipulation of facts, and the way that Desmashian's original true versions of these creatures, who are the basis for our legendary blood drinkers, shapeshifters, and undead, are put forth. It shows a lot of creativity to come up with your whole different outlook and take on those creatures. Lucas Kettner's monsters are identifiable models for their B-movie counterparts, and his trappings of the time include bygone artifacts like telephone books and camcorders and family-owned businesses. His cover, that's just Monster Kid Nirvana to me. No self-respecting late-night horror show fan can resist the covers. Color artist Lauren Offey works the shadows instead of making them blackout curtains. The way she makes what lurks within them semi-visible but indistinct, that's a whole unsettling realism of human perception limitations. What's more unnerving, after all? Almost making out what's stalking you, but not enough to stop it? Or staring into a black void unawares, awaiting for an unseen fatal strike? I think her subtlety works very well for this to build a little suspense. Frank Svetkovic's lettering, especially for the intro and outro sections, come with titling fonts that could be on VHS horror sleeves. He does a nice job with that. The bad. Okay. And inside the cover synopsis of the first series felt very much needed. There's a lot to cover, and they breeze over it. They take for granted that you've read the other series. That's not a good assumption to make. The narrative launches exactly where the first one ended, but with barely a mention of what's come before. Now, while the 80s setting has been well represented by Kettner's art, like I said, and everything from news events of the time that were accurate and PSA slogans that were big, the presence of a meth abuser and the term tweaker here are out of place. Meth labs became prevalent in our section of the Midwest in the 1990s. And this is a part of the West, things would usually hit the coasts like New York and LA. drug-wise, and they would filter their way in over the course of about 5 years. Meth labs became prevalent in our section in the Midwest in the 1990s. And in the year of our story, 1983, research I did showed that even eventual meth lab production capital, San Diego, had only 6 labs busted in that year. So worse, this addiction choice seems purely for the sake of a wordplay, in that a crystal meth-using lycanthrope is named Crystal. It's a throwaway little joke. And addiction and recovery are effective parts of the Crowley narrative, with good reason. But this choice of illegal substance versus time period hit a very false note. I blame Breaking Bad, because it made that seem like it's been around a long time. And it really, according to the timeline of this book, it has not. And related, in this series, we have seen that werewolf, Steve, take humanly lethal damage and injury only to be fully restored by like the following day, because werewolves are tough and you can't kill them easily. Crystal, a she-werewolf, exhibits all the physical meth-related maladies, though. She is emaciated and she's experiencing rapid tooth decay. Why? How does her lycanthropic power not resist these ailments that are a part of this chemical abuse? They say that silver doesn't really harm werewolves. That's part of the false narrative that the vampires have created. So what is it about meth production and chemicals that has made it where she looks like a regular human that is undergoing this kind of abuse and substance abuse? So, final words. The new series issue number 1 feels a little out of step with the end of the first series. It's less refined. It's a little more roughshod. However, that first series initial issue was the same, and it evolved very quickly and well over every subsequent issue. So my hope is, especially with Dark Horse giving them 2 added weeks in between, the same is going to take place with every additional issue in series number 2. It's definitely worth picking up, but you may find yourself a little bit disappointed in some of the little details of it. We saw Jerry in her Crowley persona for much of the first series. This one does not have her in her garb. We don't see her as the late night host in this first issue. But she's a determined reporter here. The person beneath that white pancake in the props. And she's come out with renewed self-confidence and purpose, which is a very energizing force for the second series. Defeating inner demons through recovery is not easy, but neither is dispatching monsters while protecting humankind. And Jerry makes us believe both is possible for her. She's got moxie to spare, whether crossing verbal steel with her misogynistically antiquated mentor or punching the taste out of a she-wolf's muzzle. So my score for the Count Crowley Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter number 1 is going to be 7.5 out of 10.
Pretty good.
Interesting.
Pretty good, yeah.
Not perfect, but you know.
Yeah, because during the 80s, it would have been crack cocaine, right?
Yeah, that would have been much more appropriate.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, that whole thing about that form of drug abuse just really threw me when I was reading it, where I stopped and I had to look it up. That's a big, you know, that bothers me. But
yeah, because if anyone else does that, they might not come back to finish the rest of the book. And
I think it's a very worthwhile read. You know, I can overlook it. It bugged me, but okay, if that's the only thing, all right. But I want to see them come back. I want to see an 8.5 worthy review for issue 2. That's the way the first series ran. The first issue did not get high marks from anybody,
right? But
it picked up very quickly and largely as it went along, up until some people scored it in the 9s for reviews. So
interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, Donna, Carly, Carlene are talking nostalgia on us now. James Garner rode an Indian motorcycle in some Western we saw, and Donna says, James Garner was on an Indian, wasn't it one of his Brett Maverick movies? And no, Nichols, that was the series. You're right, Carl, it was. And he had a Maverick series, James Garner had a Maverick series in the 50s or 60s, but he also made 2 or 3 movies in the 90s, I think. You are right.
Right, he did.
And then I think one in the 80s, and he also had one with Charles Frank called Young Maverick, where he, you know, because they had all kinds of different cousins.
Yeah.
You know, because you had Bart, you had Brett, then you had Roger Moore in a pre-James Bond, pre-Simon Templar role playing on Maverick too, and I think there were one or two others. And this is like a distant nephew or something.
What was the one? What was the one movie where it was only Bart? Because that was like the only one that James Garner was not a part of, where it was mostly about Bart.
Right, that would have been back on the original series with who is it? I'm gonna say James Kelly, or but he was the original brother. So, but yeah, I remember. I don't know that I ever got to see it. I don't remember my parents watching a lot of Maverick. At least my dad did.
My mother loves westerns.
Yeah,
but she doesn't like the westerns that I like. She liked Maverick. Liked Maverick. Maverick was okay. I was more of a fan of Half Gun Will Travel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was good.
She doesn't care too much for that one.
My mom liked Have Gun Will Travel. Dad, I think both mom and dad like Gunsmoke. And I remember watching a lot of Wagon Train when I was younger. I think that was another one my mom dug.
Want to watch Rifleman?
Oh yeah. Super movie series rather. That was great. And Carl is right. And see, I remember this one. Issue 1 of this one, Clyde made me interested in it, and lack of research will get an author every time. Carl, you are so right. And Carl's done his research on the Mad Gasser cheerleader of Calhoun County, and also check out the brand new sequel to it, available on Lulu.com with artwork by this way, Eric S. Hawkins. Another beautiful cover by that man down there. So pick it up. You need it. You want it. You know you've got to have it. So. Yeah, so excellent. Thank you, Clyde. Thank you very much. And so, folks, we still have a little bit of time. We welcome your comments, but a lot of people are talking about Neil Adams, who passed away last week at the age of 80. And does anybody have any sort of great memories about him?
I remember.
He was once rude to me, just like Chris Claremont was, but that was... I'm going to chalk that up because, everybody else that's met him says he was a really good guy.
Yeah.
And Claremont as well. But my interactions with both of them, unfortunately, was after a couple idiots in front of me. And these were when you could get comics signed for free. Right. Would bring a short box full of frickin' comics and plop them on there. Sign these.
Yeah. No, I was speaking of that, not to interrupt anyone, but I remember somebody did that.
Brian goes, "That was me."
No. I was always pretty nice about that. I think 3 was my limit, but no. And I'm sorry, Eric, but no. I remember one time somebody done that with Steve Englehart at one of the Chicago shows. Some idiot brought what had to be a stack of about 200 or more comics and dropped it in front of Englehart and said, "Sign them." So Englehart took the top one, opened the cover, signed his name, closed it, put it down, opened the second one, signed it, closed it, put the first one on top, and said, "I'm out of here, bye." And I didn't see him the rest of the weekend. So that's the way to handle it. Oh, but anyway, no, I met Neil Adams once, and he, I think it was when he was starting to charge for his signature. He was the second person I should ever say, who I paid to get their signature. The first one was Roger Stern at the very first convention I ever went to in Indianapolis. He was a fan there and it was him and Bob Layden and a couple other people were running their fanzine booth. And it was like, first thing I saw the magazine, I said, "I've got to have this." And I said, "Here's $1. And he goes, and Roger Stern goes, "I don't have any change on me whatsoever. I left it at home. Charge you $0.25 for my signature." I said, "Do it." And so he signed it, and I gave him $1, and we're both laughing about it. And I got to see him about 15 years later. And I said, "You were the first one who ever charged me for an autograph." And he looked at you and he looked at me rather and said, "Oh my God, I remember that. I didn't have a quarter, did I?" And I'm like, so we bonded. So anyway. Yeah. So Joe, what about you?
My story is kind of bittersweet.
Okay.
Because he was the first person that ever spoke to me when I made the transition to the publishing side.
Right.
At C2E2. It's like my second year being next to Marvel and everything, out of the blue, out of nowhere. "Hey, how you doing? I hope you're having a good show." This, that. I was like, "Okay, how are you?" And I turned around, I was like, "Oh, wow." that's like I didn't know him for Adam, and it's like ever since then it's just been kind of like one of those things. If we're both at a show, make some time to talk to him. I had some great conversations with him.
Sure.
But he was like kind of like the very first, legend that kind of welcomed me into the fold once I made that transition.
Cool. Well, that's so cool. That's so cool. I know Brian Rodman had some good stories about Adam. Said that that he and Neil just bonded immediately and became con buddies. I think so. Yeah, they did. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're calling it now. But anyway, Clyde, what about you?
One of the Wizard Cons St. Louis, I went with a friend one year, and he had comics that he was taking to have signed and stuff. And we hit the floor, and we went different directions. And I ended up, Judy and I approached Neil Adams was sitting there at the table. There wasn't a soul around. If they had hit and talked with him already, the crowd had moved on. I was really surprised, and so I saw he had prints on the table. So I walked up, and I didn't really want to bother him because he was I think he was sketching something. So I didn't want to interrupt, But I went up and I started looking through the prints, and I'm like, oh man, you don't have the character that I was looking for. It had Batman and Superman and some Marvel characters, and I was like, oh, you don't have the one I was looking for. And he goes, who are you looking for? I always loved the way you do Wildcat. And he's like, oh, I drew Wildcat better than anybody. I was like, I agree. For that era, Brave and the Bold, it was excellent. And he goes, I don't have he's like, yeah, that's kind of an obscure. I don't have a print of that. And I'm like, okay. So then we talked for a little, and that kind of broke the ice. So we talked for a little bit, and I said, you don't know what it was like to see your books on the racks. That it's just like a magnet. Your covers were magnet, and I was cheap metal. I would just and I would buy it. I was like, Marvel, DC, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then a lot of times I was disappointed when I got home as a little kid to open them up and see you weren't doing the interior work. But if you were, this comic, had a really high standard then in my collection. So I was like, you're one of the first people that I started to look for your style, and as a really little kid, and try to get his work. And so he was very appreciative. He's very humble about it and thanked me. And then he said, you have a comic book you'd like me to sign? And I'm like, no, I don't have one with me. And he was like, okay. And I was like, I never really thought about it. I didn't think I would get to just talk to you just like this. He goes, well, if you find one here at the con, bring it back. And also, I looked, but they're like, the cover's falling off of them.
Yeah.
of my price range, because WizardCon, they charge a lot. Sometimes, they had dollar comics, but not in good shape, or not. I could find anything with his artwork on it. So I was like, well, dang. So, but my wife and daughter had heard the exchange. So that Christmas, they gave me, and I'm going to lift my computer here, and you can see right there.
Oh yeah,
that came from his studios. Yep.
Yeah.
They commissioned him to make me a Wildcat.
That gotta be what, maybe like a $250 or $300 commission.
You wish. No, no, it was not in the hundreds. And because they didn't give me the exact price, but they told me that it was like, treasure it, because we can't afford to do that very much. I mean, he was charging quite a bit.
Yeah.
That tells me that was not based upon his recent prices, because if that was just pencil, that's a bare minimal $300 coming in the door.
Yeah.
If you get it colored, we're talking thousands.
Yeah. Well, this was ink, pen and ink, but it was above hundreds. So
see that I'll up here. I'll be kind of like leery, because I've been, ever since I met him, I've kind of been following what he's been doing as of late, and he was still doing sketches and stuff like that. He had his art prints and everything, and he was willing to do commissions. But like you said, those prices, it's like once you go beyond pencil, it skyrockets.
Oh yeah. But I don't have a lot of original art, but that is the pride, and even more so, this at the announcement of his passing. So, but that's my, that look on his face was priceless though when he goes, "You got a comic book I'm going to sign?" Oh, no. but he was very, very humble and very kind and funny, and all the good things that I've heard about him, I was like, yeah, it's absolutely my experience with him. But again, there was nobody around. There's nobody to get him all stoked up before I got there, I don't guess. So
I don't think he really gets riled up. It's just more along the lines people come to him thinking that their stuff is the greatest thing. He just kind of like looks through it like, nope, you messed this up. You didn't follow this, you didn't follow that. And they're not expecting that.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people that bring their stuff to conventions for appraisal frequently are looking more for validation than anything else. But I'm friends.
Look and get it out there. Don't worry about what other people say.
Exactly. Or be like Jack Kirby, kid. Comics will break your heart.
It reminds me of the conversation that I had with Neil Adams, and I think he's absolutely correct with this.
Yeah.
When you go to a show, you just put your stuff out there. It will sell itself. Mm-hmm. What gets people over to you is the stories that you could tell, and you being you.
Yeah, that is true. God knows that's true. Anyway, but what was it? Trying to think. I had an Adams story, but it just kind of
squirrel.
But, yeah, pretty much. That's how it is these days.
But let that be a lesson to you. If you find me at a con, you can get 11x17 commission for under 200.
There you go.
Not much under 200, but yes, under 200.
$199.99.
That's right. Yeah.
Tax included.
Yes. Oh no, he's got to charge Missouri. He's got to charge
Illinois
state tax.
That's not considering shipping freight.
Yeah,
that's why I said find me at a con.
That's right. No, I remember what I was about to say now. I'm friends with Trevor Von Eden, the guy who the first artist on Black Lightning's done a lot of great work. And he's worked for Neil Adams for years in his continuity studios. And he has nothing but love for the guy. Mm-hmm. Talking about how, even when he was a kid, literally, like 17 or 18, Adams taught him so much and encouraged him to develop his own style. That, that's, you see some artists that try to teach you to draw exactly like them, but apparently Neil was not like that. And you look at the great people that came through his studio, you had experienced people like Dick Giordano, for instance, but you also had newcomers at the time like Terry Austin, Carl Potts, Mike Nasser, just a who's who of really, really great creators after a while. So, and he was still doing it. He was still working it. He was still drawing. He was still doing conventions, still doing advertising. In fact, what was it? I want to say Claritin was a commercial. He got into computer animation. Is that one with the bumblebee?
Yeah.
Yeah. But said that that was Adam's work, because I when I was a transcriber for Tomorrow's, I did several of Neil's interviews, and he mentioned frequently that was his ad running on TV. So
I remember he did. DC tried to kind of emulate Marvel with the little cover boxes,
right?
And they didn't have them usually boxed up. They were just loose, but a lot of them were his work of Superman, Batman. Right. And when Captain Action comic came out, he put he had an upside down, kind of a upside down triangle as his emblem. And he made just a portrait, just his face and the hat and everything in that emblem. And that was what they used as their cover art, their little corner box art.
Oh yeah. And
I looked for years hoping that I could find that he had done an entire Captain Action torso or something. Gil Kane did, Wally Wood did, but that's the one character that I've never seen Adams draw. But I always thought that there would be more of that little portrait that he had done. That maybe there was a whole sketch from it, but Apparently not. So I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I probably need to look it up. But 13th Dimension, that website, had a special commission of Adams, and if you remember the Superman Muhammad Ali, he did a very special. In fact, I'm going to see if I can find that because it is so cool.
You know, speaking of corner boxes, did you guys see the Marvel books out this week?
Kind of looked at them.
I kind of didn't.
Yeah, well, here I'm going to share one real quick, just to
go ahead.
take a look at how ugly this is. I mean,
Are you saying that corner boxes were ugly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been trying to do something a little bit different.
It looks like a sticker on it.
Ugh.
Well, while they're doing that, I will show you one of the things I dug out this week to kind of go down memory lane. The Art of Neil Adams. This is volume 2, but it's got quite a bit of.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, quite a bit of stuff that you don't see all the time of his work, and mostly in black and white. But things like Frankenstein.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you get a real appreciation for his line work like this.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there we go. And there's some of his ad work.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
You could always tell it was him.
Yeah, it was very, very distinctive. His Superman, except for Kurt Swan, his Superman just, and he did the Superboy art covers a lot, and I remember being really attracted to those the way he did them. But
those are great. Yeah. Well, see, I see Eric has got his thing here. Let's check in with that real fast. Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were actually stickers on the book. I was like, why did someone put a sticker? Oh, that's
in the upper right-hand corner?
Right. Yeah.
And the bottom, even the barcode's ugly too.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's hideous.
Let's not just obscure the art. Let's really distract from it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like in that logo, it frames the character nicely, but you're right, the stark white boxes there, it's like it's like somebody instead of Photoshop they used MS Paint.
Draws your eyes up and down.
Yeah.
It's not attractive at all. I literally thought it was a sticker. I was like, why did someone put a sticker on the cover?
And I got to admit, I wasn't surprised by it because I think most of the Marvel covers, they are not impressive to me. So I didn't even notice it. But you're right.
It jumped out at me. I wasn't looking for a Marvel book, but the whiteness jumped out at me.
Yeah. That's hideous. Well, see, I am going to share one here. I found the thing I was going to, what I was mentioning a moment ago. Share screen. There's no video there. So, okay, here we go. This is, share. All right, here we go. This is the classic final spread of, and I'm sorry it can't be any bigger, of the classic Muhammad Ali meets Superman. And, rousing in for it. Well, somebody commissioned Neil Adams to do a different version of that. And, I need to go to the original. Here it is.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that great?
Nice.
And somebody, I think this is the page. Yes, they did a mock-up.
Oh.
How cool is that?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I love that thing. So, and speaking of which, don't forget, available now on Amazon, these wonderful books from Becky Books and Crazy 8, each one edited by Jim Beard and Rich Handley, each one covering 1 year of the 1960s Batman series. And I have essays in 2 of them, but get all 3 because they're that awesome. # always promote. So there we go.
The crowning achievement, I think, for Adams in my childhood was those wraparound 100-page super spectacular covers.
Yes.
Now his work wasn't inside,
Right.
but that made me pick up these wonderful tales of older characters that were not really being produced anymore. So
Yeah.
he introduced me to all the Golden Age characters that he made look so amazing with his covers.
Yeah, I remember getting the original of that. I still have the original of that one.
I have lost it over time, and so I got this kind of. This
I
is
have
a
the
reprint.
replica, yeah.
But I every time I go someplace, I look to see if they might have one that is within my price range that is, a good reader copy. But they're hard to find.
Yeah. Well, those didn't get much love when they first came out, unfortunately. So.
No.
So.
But those kind of things that he did, and also there's one that you don't see very often unless you go online and you find it. That is the plans for the Metropolis, Illinois.
Yes.
Superman land.
Yes.
He's got a section there dedicated to Smallville. He drew up a mock-up of the Superman Colossus that they would drive under, going in.
Yeah.
The world of Krypton.
Yeah.
Displays.
Yeah.
And the villain hall. And that was all Adam's prospective proposal artwork that he did for the project.
Yeah. That would have gone in Metropolis, Illinois. And because I wrote an article on that for Back Issue many years ago. And as you enter town from off of I-24 onto Route 45, on the east side, just before you hit Paducah, Kentucky, that big industrial park on your right, I think, as you're heading into town, is where the park would have been. But the problem was, one of the problems was they had not completed I-24. And by the time they did finish off the interstate there,
the gas crisis.
Well, gas crisis was part of it, and also some of the investors started getting cold feet. And then when Metropolis was starting to get some attention for the celebration, some people talked about reviving that. By then, Six Flags of America had exclusive licenses with DC. And they managed to scuttle the project because nobody could build. They had within 150 miles of each one.
They're stuck in between two.
Yes, the one
in Gurney and the one in St. Louis.
Yeah, exactly. So they're screwed both ways. So and that's made merchandising really tough for them too. So, but anyway, that's the reason for that. But yeah, that was beautiful work. I also like the fact that Adams was all around town. He could write. I don't think he was a really strong writer, but he could plot. Yeah, Batman Odyssey. Okay.
No, I'm thinking like continuity comics.
Oh yeah, those. Yeah. Great ideas, but I liked Crazy Man. I'm sorry. I am unapologetic.
Oh, I do too. I like the character concepts.
Yeah.
Try following the storylines.
The what?
The storylines. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I saw him he regularly inked Carmine Infantino in the late '60s when Infantino was designing the covers. He inked Swan on a lot of Superman covers. Plus, I have the very first story of Terra Man, the origin of Terra Man, inking Dick Dillon, and that's beautiful.
It is, and you can see his influence on Dillon's work there.
Yeah. He's
those covers. We talk about skeleton horses all the time.
Yeah.
A Neil Adams winged horse cover. It's a thing of beauty.
That's so sweet. There we go.
There you go. Yeah. Only Frazetta does Pegasi better.
We finally got his skeletal horse.
You need to put skeletal wings on that horse. Make it
be a skeletal Pegasus.
Pegasi, yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
And Carl Witzman says a barcode on the front. WTF?
Yeah.
It looks like they're only doing that with X-Men books.
They're doing it with a lot of X-Men books,
except the Wolverine books. That one's got normal. But all the other X-Men books I was looking at, I was going through League of Comic Geeks here. It's all the X-Men related books. I'm like, ugh, that's ugly, because they're not doing it to my Moon Knight. Thank God.
Well, good. That's close. But he's got a thank you, Carl. It says, good show, guys. I have to go check on Joe Dog soon. I understand. Give Joe Dog our love, please.
Oh, let's not forget about the other question.
Yes, I was just coming back to that. Thank you, Joe. What are 3 comic book bundles or sets that you would recommend everyone have in their collection and why? So we've had
like a trade.
I would say no. Let's go with the individual issues. And I see Clyde.
I think it's storylines. But
yeah,
you may not like what I might suggest.
Okay, let's start with Clyde. He had his.
Well, I'm gonna continue the theme.
Yes.
I got to thinking about the different things that Neil Adams has done that I think belong in everybody's collections, if they have any interest in his work at all. Mm-hmm. And one of them, I don't know if you could get them, but he did illustrations for Warren's black and white horror comics.
Oh, that's right.
Start with Vampirella Annual, 1972. And I think Vampirella had most of his work, if I remember correctly. But you might find some in Creepy and Airy. But a collection of that? This is stuff that was black and white, and a lot of his stuff it looked like it was just pencil work, not even inked, some of it. It is beautiful. That is like where he's at his height to me, as far as rendering stuff. And there's not a superhero stuff, it's horror. And, there was much more mature title. So there's a bit of nudity at times in it and stuff. And I don't know that he worked in that area very much, but I do remember that the Warren stuff, just for the line work and the pencil work, was even as a kid just jaw-dropping.
Oh yeah, Rock God,
huh?
Rock God.
Yes.
That was in one of the Vampirellas.
Yeah,
Harlan Ellison's story, Denny O'Neill's script. Yeah.
That
was breathtaking.
Let's see. Also, if you're gonna go with a DC thing, that is you got to have hard traveling heroes, starting with Green Lantern, Green Arrow 76, Green Lantern 76, I think, from there on, right?
Yeah, right.
I put those together. Avengers around issue 92. He was doing both the covers and the interiors. He did an Ant-Man story where the Vision was taken out and Ant-Man has to shrink down to microscopic size and try to navigate through his systems. Oh my gosh. It was like Fantastic Journey or Fantastic Voyage, a movie done with Ant-Man and Neil Adams art. It just, as a kid, just knocked my socks off. And he did a few issues right in there of Avengers where he did the interior art, I believe. So I would get those for Marvel titles. And just on a lark, this would be mainly for the artwork, but try to find some of the continuity comics that we talked about. They have great character concepts like Megalith and Armor and Ms. Mystic. Not great story execution, but just for the art. In fact, I've got, I could not find this anywhere, so I don't know if it's rare or what, but they put out a game supplement, a superhero role-play game supplement based on that. And I've still got my copy. And even that has some beautiful black and white artwork in that of the different characters too. So that would be my Neil Adams comic bundle suggestions for, and if you just want his cover work, like the 100-page Super Spectaculars, the wraparounds, it's hard to beat that. It's just not any of his interior stuff in those. So
yeah. Good choices. Good choices, Clyde. Okay, Joe, what are we not going to like?
Well, again, he's saying 3. I'm going to pick three series.
Yeah.
That you might, but he might, knowing Ryan, he might not like it. The very first one is the X-Men, the 198. That's the very first time that the original X-Men teams up with the United States government and pretty much had their own kind of mutant registration where they have to deal with the 198 mutant refugees on the Massachusetts campus.
Right.
That book was excellent. If you ever follow X-Men history, it was like Xavier's mission flipped on his head. Yep. And they had to realize, are they doing the right thing by keeping these refugees kind of like pinned down on the Massachusetts campus, or should they be set free?
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's within his wheelhouse or not. The second series and I just had a squirrel moment here.
Not just me.
Oh, the second series is if you're a Captain America fan, and if you've been following the MCU and everything, always take a look at Truth, Red, White, and Black.
Yes.
The story of Isaiah Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great one. Good
And the last issue. It's like the thing that makes me the most angry, but I get why it's that way.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to ruin it for you. I'm not going to ruin it for you. But that was another series here, and the last one, and like I said, it was. Oh yeah, I remember. Darwin Cook, New Frontier.
Yeah.
Excellent choice.
New Frontier, because Darwin Cook always wanted to bring the positive aspect of superheroes, meaning that you never really see anybody with doom and gloom. I mean, he always made certain that, most of the characters stay smiling and stay positive. And it was kind of weird to read a series where everything, the characters are more chipper and happy.
But they're still facing like really desperate situations. They are shining in that struggle.
Mm-hmm.
That is so rare. It was so rare for the time, but it shines so much brighter in the way he would present it. That's amazing stuff.
Good stuff. Good choices, Joe.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know if he would like it or not.
That's good ideas, though. I like those. Eric, how about you?
Well, I always go to Daredevil Born Again, but I'm not going to. I mean, that series and Kraven's Last Hunt, I always go. That goes through 3 different Spider-Man books, because that was before there was just Spider-Man. It was amazing. Peter Parker and Web Up. I'm gonna go with a limited series, just because the artwork's so unique in it. It's Havoc and Wolverine Meltdown.
Oh, the watercolor one.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was gorgeous. And then I'm going to say The Crow. If you've never read The Crow.
Good choice.
That. And this one, I mean, it's kind of hard to pick. I'm not going to say the entire series. But definitely issues 1 through 28 of G.I. Joe. 28's when you Snake Eyes and the Storm Shell meet on the subway, or don't meet on the subway. They fight on the subway cars or the rail cars. But there's so much that goes on in those early issues. I mean, one of my favorite characters, which I wish they would have done a figure when I was a kid, was Quinn, the Eskimo. Yeah, and Snake Eyes and his relationship, Dr. Venom in there, and which he never got a figure either when I was a kid. No, I get Dr. Mindbender, not Dr. Venom. But those, I mean, it's still good after those, but those are probably the first 28 issues are some of my favorite ones. But I like the entire series up until when it became Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes, and Ninja Force, and that kind of stuff. But the early issues are the better ones. But Larry wrote all of them, right? He did.
Just about.
I mean, there might be a fill in
he
here.
didn't write a lot of the later ones. He didn't write a lot of the later ones in the Marvel series, but in the early ones, And
cover wise, there's so many beautiful covers. I mean, I was just looking at all the covers again. I was like, oh my god, they're so gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Good choice.
The thing that I believe ruined the G.I. Joe series right about the time that you're talking about was the invention of secret missions, special missions, I should say.
Oh yeah,
special missions.
Which they had good covers too.
Beautiful Mike Zack covers. Yeah. Now the British version of G.I. Joe was really good.
I got a couple of those. I had to get them from Mile High Comics at the time because that's when you wrote a check and mailed off and got your comics. For stuff you couldn't find at your local gas station or drugstore.
That's true. Yeah, we got them in our shop though. Because I think I was the only one buying them. I was getting
shop. I didn't even know what shop was then.
Well, that's true. You lived in the hinterlands, so yeah, I get that. But good choices. Well, we've been discussing Neil Adams, and I'm going to throw out a couple. Dead Man.
Oh, yeah.
Going back to the original Arnold Drake, Carmine Infantino, but then Adams inked Infantino on the second one, then took over full art chores, and then from there, after the Strange Adventures run ended in 216, whenever they had a Deadman appearance, Adams drew it, whether it was in Justice League of America or Challengers of the Unknown, wherever. And so, collecting all those issues would be good. Another one would be the entire Kree-Skrull War.
Right.
From Avengers, I think it was 89 until 97, I believe. And there, Adams did some brilliant art in there. But so did Sal Buscema. So did Gil Kane. Or, no, not Gil Kane. John Buscema, Sal Buscema. Yeah, and Neil Adams. And a number of the later ones, especially, were inked by Tom Palmer.
And
who
Kane
was at
did,
the height.
I don't know if it's the same era, but Kane did some work on the Captain Marvel titles that were like connected to that, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He did. Yeah, the ones that led into the Kree-Skrull War with Dan Atkins inking. Those were beautiful. Another one would be, again, Neil Adams for most of them. X-Men, the original run of Uncanny X-Men from 55 until 64.
Yeah.
Starting with a Warner Roth thing, but Roy Thomas comes back to write it after 2 years, after Gary Friedrich was on there for a while, Arnold Drake was on there, and he had some interesting art in some of them.
That's just before the reprints, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's where the
I got all those books. I was just like, wait a second.
Yeah.
60-something was the start of the reprint, so it's just before that.
That's where the costumes got interesting.
Yes. Yes.
The Marvel Girl costume, I think, is a very iconic look that I wish that they had done more with. Those are all pretty fleeting. The Angel, black, red, white, yellow, purple, all the colors. This is not so much, but the red and the blue of Beast, they weren't drastically different, but he just kind of redesigned them. And as a kid, I really liked him, all except Angel. I thought that was weird, but
Thomas brought Angel was a bit more arrogant.
Yeah.
In those issues, but Thomas wrote all but one. Denny O'Neil wrote that one. Adams drew all but the one by Werner Roth, also one with Don Heck, and then one with Sal Buscema and Sam Granger. But that whole run there was beautiful, and it came to a nice end. So I like that. My third one would probably be the first 25, I think, issues of Conan the Barbarian. Primarily the ones with Roy Thomas and Barry Windsor Smith. Because also, not only are you going to get to see, I think, one of the best ever adaptations of the Robert E. Howard stories, you're going to see Barry Smith just blossom as an art force. He starts out as kind of like a poor man's Jack Kirby. And over the course of even just the first year, he finds his voice, and it just becomes this beautiful, ornate style that is incomparable, and he's still working it to this day. So those would probably be my top three, aside from like Eric was saying, like Born Again or all everyone, Watchmen. Nobody ever guesses.
Doomsday Clock. How could I forget that one? Jeez.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Doomsday Clock. Everybody's got to have that one. Yeah.
Or the Kingdom.
Or the
Kingdom Come is good. Kingdom, no.
I haven't read these in a while, so I'm not sure if it would be of interest to Ryan or not. But I really enjoyed the first series of Men in Black. It's different than the movies.
Yeah.
But when you mention The Crow, I always think of that too, because it was a little black and white, cheapy comic. But the concept was really good. A little different than what ended up being on the screen, but it's a little more paranoid about how good the Men in Black's plans are for aliens and humans. But it was, and they did more than just aliens there too. They did other kinds of creatures, I believe. So
yeah. Well, somebody else that came out about that same time was Evan Dorkin's Milk and Cheese.
Oh yeah.
Dairy products gone bad. And they were like one-page strips, and it'd be like a bottle of milk and a slab of cheese who had, were sentient and had arms and legs and eyes, and they got bored or something would annoy them, and then they'd go like beat it up and set it on fire or something. and something I picked up from one of the things, they had a little caption down below, a little editor's note saying, "Milk and cheese are professional troublemakers. Do not attempt these stunts at, oh, what the heck, give it a whirl."
I never really took to those comics, but my friends that were, it's like they would show me all the nice jokes in Milk and Cheese.
Oh, those were so funny. Oh, honorable mention, and I think Joe would appreciate this one. It only lasted 12 issues back in the 90s, the WCW comic book.
Oh, yes. The World
Those were good.
It had a consistent storyline about the championship, and that was the cool thing about those books. And they're hard to come by now.
They are very hard, and they'll never be reprinted. But what I loved was the fact that somebody would leave the league and then they'd have to rewrite the story. It's
not about rewriting the story. They had to finagle the overarching storyline about who is going to challenge this created champion.
Yeah. Yeah. But it had like so many great celebrities in that thing that we know now that people are now household words. And I gotta say that Ron Wilson, he drew the Thing comic for many years. He's drawn a lot of different really good titles. Power Man, I think he did long ago, and Wolfpack. I mean, I liked his work, but in this one, he just came alive in this one. This was just something where it was almost like this is the book he always wanted to do, and you could tell. And exactly. Yeah, it was kind of magical. So, but
how hard is it to find? This is a series that I picked up a few issues, but I didn't get them all. And now, last time I looked, it was hard to come by. Emperor Joker. Is that something that's hard to come by, or did they ever collect it? Or
I think they collected it.
Okay. That was, I mean, if you want to see I'm not a big Joker fan, but if you want to see the Joker using the power of Mr. Mixelplix, and what he would do if he had that kind of reality bending power, that's a very interesting twisted read. So
yeah. Let's see. I'm looking up see if it is available. And oops, that wasn't what I wanted.
Brian, while you're looking that up, you mentioned Barry Windsor Smith.
Yeah.
To this day, I love his art, but it is hard for me to look at.
Really?
It seems to be so lazily drawn. I mean, it looks good.
Yeah.
And there's something about the eyes that I focus on, because the way he draws his eyes, I mean, I guess there's no shading in him. He just draws the iris and the pupil. But I mean, it's lazily, but it's very skilled lazy. It's like, I don't think he spends a lot of time on it. He could do it so effortlessly. It looks like it.
Yeah.
But I do love his artwork.
Explain skilled lazy.
He's so good. He could be lazy and he could make it look a lot better, but he doesn't have to.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's what I get from his artwork.
Your casual approach, sir, it puts me off.
Yes.
I love it, but sometimes it's hard for me just to look at it, because it's like, it just looks like he spent no time on it, but it looks good still. And there's just weird things about it that have always thrown me off about it.
What if he did spend time on it? How would it look then? If it kind of leaves you with that. You have that yearning to see what it would like if he really, really spent time on it. How good would it be, or would it be worse?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me. Someone posted something this week on Twitter about Amazing Spider-Man #1. Was it amazing? The new one that came out?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. About Junior's artwork. And there's a panel from the back. Spider-Man. I mean, he looks like he's got a big old badonka butt. His hands all crooked, and he's putting a phone in his back pocket. And what it looks like to me, it's whoever's inking his art is really bad.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame.
Were the feet good? Was it Liefeld inking him, or
You couldn't see the feet.
Was there an ankle to be found?
But if they're juniors, they would have been square anyway.
Oh, that's funny. Well, guys, I think it's Eric. Now, Eric, I gotta ask you before we go here. Are you on Drawn and Quartered tonight?
Oh.
Yes.
What are we drawing?
2100 Samurai. It's another crowdfunded book. We're focusing on crowdfunding projects now.
Okay.
It's our prime focus, and we've got them scheduled out for the next month and a half, I think. We're going to even have Luke Stone on the 26th of this month, I think.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Very
I think so. If that's a Thursday. Yeah, it's a Thursday. So it's 2100 Samurai this week. And, I'll bring up the schedule real quicker.
Yeah.
So 2100 Samurai by Nick Gibson, which is on Indiegogo.
Okay.
Then the week after that, we've got Brian will want to tune in this one. Otis Stein #2, which is on Kickstarter right now. Which he's like over 5,000, I think, on his second issue.
Oh, good for him.
Then we got a SPQR's Bizarre Adventures and Elysian Fields.
Michael Oden.
Yeah, that's Michael Oden.
Yeah.
It's going to be on my show this week after we figure out the scheduling again.
Yeah. So on 5/19 we have them, which is it's on Indiegogo right now. It looks like, and then on 5/26 we got Hybrids with Luke Stone.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're trying to focus on indie books. We might change might start a new channel just for this to separate from Chester's channel. Chester will still be the host, but just focus strictly on indie comics. Change the name of the show from Drawn and Quartered because some people don't like the show.
Oh,
because it is associated with Mike S. Miller.
Oh, right.
Because his is Drawn and Quartered. Pro edition, we're Drawn and Quartered. Fan edition, even though there's more of us. Well, he doesn't even do his show anymore. He stopped like 3 weeks ago because he's doing NFTs. He doesn't have time to do the show. So, and for the longest time, there's been more people that have put out more comics on our show that were on the pro show. Because when he had a big kerfuffle and all the pros left the show, basically. So because we were talking about it last week, change the name something else to separate it from that because that does leave a bad taste in some people's mouth. Because first time I went over there and won that show, I had well over 100 votes.
Right.
He had to have a viewership of like 200-300 people at the time during the live show. Now he gets like 30. We get 30. So this.
Wow.
But when I went over there and won, I had to really win.
Yeah, I remember that.
I beat Miller. I beat Malin. I beat Gary Shipman was on that week. Elliot Fernandez. Brian Shear, he's a good G.I. Joe artist and Transformers. I actually beat pros. Now, I go over there and nobody's done a comic book. So, other than Mike.
Yeah, but Mike is how many years behind in that Nexus team up or whatever?
Well, the colorist died from COVID, so.
Well.
Yeah. Well, that happens. I can't blame him for that one. So, I don't think it's 6 months late. I don't think it's a year late.
No, I thought it was longer than that.
Yeah, I think it's only.
I could be wrong, but it's late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
His is most of his has been fairly on time. This one, there might be another one out there too, but I know that one that I do believe the colorist was having issues with his health for the longest time.
Yeah.
Due to diabetes, and then COVID, and so but there's a lot more books much later than that out there.
That's true. But I'm not pledged them.
Was Liefeld got a book out there? It's like 6 years later,
something like that. Yeah. So get your books done, folks. When you do crowdfunding, that's the main thing. So
it's overrated.
Try to always start with your books either 90% done or completely done.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes things completely easy.
That's right.
Trust me, you could show pages, you could do a whole bunch of things if the book is completely done.
That's right. and you get it out on time, and people aren't 6 months later going, when did I pledge for this book? What's this thing in the mail? So yeah,
it's like, why am I getting this book in the mail? And then you look up, it's like, oh,
yeah,
I actually asked for this about 5 years ago.
Well, when I look at Kickstarter this week for things that I had pledged for that I haven't gotten, my very first one I pledged for, I have never gotten.
I think my oldest one's about 3 years old, and it's a game. It was a cheap one too. Can't imagine they couldn't get it done. But anyway, we can convention about that later.
Oh, mine that I've ordered are from friends, and so there's a high degree of accountability, and I've gotten all mine. So
well, that's it. I'm just going to start.
That's what I typically do now. I mean, unless it's something I really, really like. But I think I'm only waiting on 3 books, and one of them I don't think I'll ever get. Actually, 2 of them I won't ever get. One I will get. I know it's late, and the artist keeps everybody updated right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's no big deal.
Yeah, I think I'm waiting on one from Karen Nicole, Unstable Frequencies, and I'm waiting on Impossible Jones from Carl Kessel. But I just pledged to a new one today, so he's been pretty good about communicating.
Wait, how many Impossible Jones are out there?
I think this is since I'm kind of late to the party, Joe. I think this is like the third series that they started the crowdfunding for today. But the first series was just recently reprinted in Scout Comics, and then they had a Kickstarter a couple months ago for Volume 2.
Okay, so if they're not doing it issue by issue, I'm not interested. I don't do the trade thing. I hate as much as I hate to say this.
Yeah,
trades are a good thing.
Yes,
graphic novels are a great thing. But when I think about ongoing series and the dedication it takes to make a good ongoing series,
right?
You don't break it down like that. You still think story arc, but you still don't break it down to the way that a lot of these other creators are doing nowadays. That just drives me up the wall. It drives me up the wall.
I can see that. I understand.
Like 4 or 5 volumes. It's like, is it really an ongoing series, or are you really taking different time periods? How are you separating volume 1 from volume 2?
Right. That makes sense. I can see it. Well, on that note, and thank you very much, Donna Carly. Carlene, you have a great night too, hon. And Eric Andrea's base? No. Okay, there we go. I think we've answered all the hard-hitting questions.
Yes.
And so now let's sign off today. We'll go the other way today. Let's Jody McFee, why don't you start us off? Tell us how people can keep up with you and what you've got going right now. Okay.
Well, right now I'm still lettering it. This page is for issue number 7 of Amazonia here. But if you need to get in contact with me before the Kickstarter, it's right there in the link right there. Linktree.silvo. That's the fastest way to get in contact with me. It has all my social media stuff, including where you can see From the Desolate Small Press Publisher, which is going to happen this Saturday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern. We're going to have Michael Olin on the show here. This time I was able to get him the link. He has everything ahead of time, so we're good. It's like
I'll be there just in case, Joe.
One of the few times I had egg on my face because of the simple fact that I showed him the thumbnail, I showed him everything. I just didn't the link, and then when I sent him the link, it was like 5 minutes before the show. I was like, "Oh, I might have to, pull something, a rabbit out of my hat as far as what we're going to do here." So I was like, I did a shorter show and apologize to people. That's the best I could do. It's like that was on me. That's all I could say. That was on me because, like I said, I could have sworn I gave him the link to join in ahead of time.
Okay, I thought somebody else had did that.
No. Okay. I would say constant communication went on. Just like, oh, did I give him the link? It's kind of like 10 minutes before the show. Normally he would pop in by now. Yeah. And I go back through my messages with him. I've never sent him the link.
Ooh. I wish I could say I've never done that, but anyway, speaking of links,
right there is where you could sign up right now to be notified for issue number 7 when issue number 7 is launched. When I say issue number 7, it's not just only the 7th issue of the Amazonia series. We're going to have all 7 issues available. So there's going to be one major catch-up tier where you can get all 7 books at one time for the low price of $35, not including shipping. I think shipping is only $8 more. So it's like for, 35 plus shipping, you get all 7 books right there, printed all nice and neat here. A lot of our stretch goals and stuff would be alternate covers. It's like we got alternate covers as add-ons from previous issues. So like issue numbers 4 and 6 have alternate covers. So you could get like all the exclusive covers for issue 6, issue 4. And as stretch goals, we got also variant covers as well that would be given to you for free if we hit certain totals. This is including things like the 10th edition, 10th anniversary edition of number 1 covers, stuff to that magnitude.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Joe.
You're very welcome. And now for Eric S. Hawkins.
And there he is now.
Woohoo! Hey, Eric S. Hawkins, that's me. Zama for World of Oz live on Kickstarter right now for another 60 hours. For 140 backers, $6,445. I need to hit 7,000 to reach that last stretch goal. Put a spot foil cover on the trade paperback.
Beautiful.
Just the spot. Just the Oz is going to be in foil green if I can get there. But that's it. So we're on Kickstarter for 60 more hours. I'm not going to Indiegogo with this one. Just more of a hassle than it's worth. Well, you can find me on any social media. Just look my name up. You'll find me. Well, apparently not. You'll find some weird stuff on YouTube if you look my name up. But everywhere else you could find me. And take it away, Clyde.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
Thanks.
Well, there's Eric's. His campaign is going on. Joe, you can sign up to follow his when it launches. And in absentia, we have Brian Rodman, his Nebulizer 2. There you go, right there. Should go and back that. I did. I think most of us have. So you need to go do that. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. So
get it funded. I want my book.
Exactly. So go and if you haven't got Nebulizer 1, you need to get both of them. And it's an excellent series, and I think that you're really going to enjoy it. If you've read any of Brian's stuff before, Mr. Rodman is excellent, and the Nebulizer is my favorite work I think that he's done so far. So check it out. Meanwhile, I'm Clyde Hall, and I'm an independent author. You can find me at Stormgate Press. If you go to www.stormgatepress.com, you'll see Pulp Reality 1, 2, and 3. Pulp Reality number 4 should be along later this year, and I have work either in or scheduled for all of those. But also, having just launched in April, the end of April, we've got Major Marjorie, Tim Bruckner's original space character that is a throwback to the science fiction pulps of a earlier time. And just to give you a blurb, in the mid-1940s, at the height of the Second World War, Major Marjorie, Space Star Ranger, turned up on the airwaves in her weekly radio series, battling evil invaders, aliens at every turn. Little did her adoring fans realize that reality mirrored fiction, and Marjorie Pettis was a member of the Intergalactic Ranger Patrol, charged with protecting the Earth from horrific manglers, real aliens that were trying to dominate humanity. Yes. Yes. It's worthy of a space ranger alert every time. So now this weekend, Free Comic Book Day on the 7th, on Saturday. And remember that not only do you have comic book stores that are pulling out all the stops to build fandom and to introduce new readers to comic book hobby and art form, but many libraries also are celebrating Free Comic Book Day. Here in our town, Colossus Comics and Games is a block away from the library. And Dan at Colossus Comics has shared the free comics so that we're going to be going back and forth about a block away. So last year, families just made a big circle around, and as far as Free Comic Book Day, libraries with their trade paperback and graphic novel collections are also, a source of free comics. So come for free comics for the day, stay for all the free comics in the regular collection that you can get for the price of a library card, which in most cases is nothing. So also, you will see me and some of the cosplayers are going to get together. Last year I did Marvel. This year I'm going to do DC because a lot of my friends are doing DC, and I get to premiere a brand new character that I worked on this winter. Here's a little hint.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So remember, there is a difference, between bad and evil. Until next week on Comic Book Spectrum, I'm Clyde Hall.
Thank you very much, Clyde.
Thank you.
And I'm Brian K. Morris, author, publisher. And this weekend, I won't be setting up, but I'll be walking around Windy City Pulp and Paper Show. It's a great big convention for pulp fiction, not the Quentin Tarantino thing, but the Shadow, Doc Savage, all the great heroes and villains of yesteryear. And I'll be wandering around with friends like Tommy Hancock, Jim Beard, John C. Bruning, Ron Fortier, Rob Davis, a whole bunch of really great people. So please come see us. It's going to be at the Westin Hotel in Lombard, Illinois. And admission, I believe, is only you'll go on their website and you'll see what the admission is at the door. But you get like a free book with it. And there's also going to be an art display, a couple of auctions, some after hours events. And on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, there's going to be an award ceremony for best paperback, best book of the year, best short story, best internal and cover art, and best anthology. And I'm pleased to say I'm nominated in the short story, so I'll be posting at 8:16 that I hate the world because I didn't win. But anyway, please come see us at the Pulp Show. It's going to be a fun time.
Or is it going to be, ha, 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 I knew it, y'all suck. Look at that.
There is a possibility. Neener. Well, I don't know the other two, so I feel bad raking people I don't know over the coals. I have no problem with my friends, which probably says volumes about me.
Come on. Shame. Everybody knows your name, but not as much as they know mine, because I won.
That's right. I'm infamous, so there. But no, please come see us. It's going to be a great time. I always have a great time when I'm there. We're going to be there all 3 days. And on Sunday, I'm doing a live reading of the original Skyman Battles the Master of Steam. Yay! Yes, and I'll also be on a panel with some really wonderful people, and we're going to be talking about Pulp Legacy. Should we have allegiance to our literary past in this regard? And of course, my answer is yeah. But anyway, that's going to be a great panel. Andy Fix is the guy in charge of that. It's going to be a really, really good time. I'm really looking forward to it and hanging out with some writing peeps. And it's going to be a great day. And we're going to visit one of the Chicago shops for Free Comic Book Day for once. So it's going to be a lively weekend. Plus, Calgon will be there. Go see Calgon. But anyway, you can find everything I do at risingtide.pub, my broadcasting, my publishing, everything that I do. Plus, you can sign up for my free monthly newsletter there, where you can find where I'm going to be till the end of the year. And the appearances are racking up, although we're not going to try to get too many more from here. But anyway, please check us out at risingtide.pub. Also, we will be on the air tomorrow at 10 a.m. for Nevermind the Furthermore, which will be our interactive talk show. We'd love to have you there. Please join us. And while we're still talking, we want to thank our Patreon supporters. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can support your favorite creators directly with a modest monthly stipend. $1 will get you exclusive looks at our blog. Every blog deserves a name. $5 a month will get you an opportunity to read my first drafts of my books. And we're going to be starting up a new project soon. You'll want to be there for that. But anyway, check us out and see what rewards we give you for supporting us at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. And also, we want to thank our sponsors, namely Rising Tide Publications. Check out The Terrors that will be out this summer. World War II superheroics with a twist. And also our usual ongoing sponsor, Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. Check out samples on the Plasma Fire Graphics Facebook page. Then go over to plasmafiregraphics.com and inquire to Jeffrey Hayes about his independent creator-friendly pricing for all your graphics needs. That's Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. And with that, we are going to sign off here. And we hope you join us next week for more reviews, more information, more folderol here on Comic Book Spectrum. And as always, folks, we leave you with the usual. Stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. We'll see you tomorrow on Nevermind the Furthermore, and next week on Comic Book Spectrum. Take care, everyone.
Thank you for watching Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Please join us next week for another look at comics, past, present, and future. If you enjoyed this, please give the show a like and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. To receive our free monthly newsletter, go to www.risingtide.pub and be sure to give the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page on Facebook a like in order to receive news about upcoming shows, including Clever Title Pending, Stupid O'Clock, Clever as Hail, Comics Chaos and Sass, Tidbits and Scribbles, the Historical Fencing Guild, and Nevermind the Furthermore. See you next week.